Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we are going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. I'm Pawnee, I'm your host. Super duper excited you are here. Let's jump in, let's talk brave. We've got a pretty short episode for you today, so let's jump right in. So today I want to talk about being brave enough to move forward with the decisions you have made and work towards the goals you have set. That seems like a really, really long title, really long idea, but basically it's just being brave enough to start moving. Really. So that is what I want to talk about today. We're going to just be quick. This is going to be, we are early in the year. We are probably a couple weeks into your New Year's resolutions. If you haven't been around long, I don't particularly prescribe to New Year's resolutions, though I know most people do. So let's talk a little bit about moving forward with the goals that we've set. Okay. First of all, what are your goals? What are your goals? And yes, this goes along with last week's episode about not hiding and things like that. But what are your goals and what is it you actually want? Do you have a clear goal? And I know that this can be so frustrating because sometimes people are like, well, just start moving, just start doing the things you need to know, you need to do, start working towards the goals. Sometimes you don't have a very clear goal. So you need to get a really clear goal, okay? And I know that is difficult sometimes, and I know that some of us don't like to make decisions, myself included. But what is your goal and how can we be moving towards it? Okay. Then the next question, why aren't you moving? Why aren't you moving? Why haven't you started on this goal? Because here's what we need to do. We need to name this fear so that we can start working through it. A lot of times we give things so much more power sometimes by not giving it a name. We're like, oh, I'm just nervous, I'm just anxious, I'm so afraid. What are we afraid of? So a lot of times when we name it, we give it a name, we say this is what I'm afraid of and this is why. Then we can see more clearly what we need to do to say, okay, I can work through this and let me work through this. So what are you afraid of? What are you so afraid of? Going along with that, naming your fear so you can work through it. Are you afraid of success or failure? No, I did not misspeak. Are you afraid of success or failure or failure? Because a lot of people don't realize, it's not something we talk about. We talk about the fear of failing all the time. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm afraid I'm not going to make it. I'm afraid I'm not going to do this. Nobody, or not nearly as many people, talk about the fear of success. And for me, to be perfectly honest, I'm one of those people that success kind of terrifies me. But let me tell you why success terrifies me. Success terrifies me because I feel like a lot of times I look too many steps down the road. Okay? When I'm afraid of success, I'm afraid of, okay, well, what if I do it and I become successful and grows big and it's awesome and it's amazing. And then it's this big, huge thing. And then what if I can't sustain it? And then if I fail? So I catastrophize the whole thing, right? I make it bigger than it needs to be. And I look at the whole picture, a whole 3 to 5 years down the road. And I say, well, what if I fail? I succeed and then I fail. So I'm kind of like bringing both fears into it. So you have got to figure out what you're afraid of. And if you're afraid of success, that's totally fine. But you got to name it. Let's name it. Why are we afraid of this? Why are we not moving? Okay. I also want to give you a few things. A lot of times we're not moving because of one thing. I realized that this kind of came down to one thing this past summer. And that is we're losing the battle to perfectionism. You may not think of yourself as a perfectionist, but you probably are. Okay, especially if you are not moving on these goals that you want and you've set, and you're just like, but I can't seem to get my butt in gear and I can't seem to move. Maybe it's your perfectionism coming into play. Maybe you're not you're afraid that you can't do it exactly right, so you don't want to do it at all. The book Finish by Jon Acuff is fantastic. I suggest that you go read it. It's amazing. But the whole book is about beating perfectionism. It's how you give the byline is like, give yourself the gift of done, because we struggle, and a lot of it is just this battle with perfectionism. We can't do it 100% right. We can't be perfect at it, so we don't do it at all. And he says something in the book along the lines of, the opposite of perfection isn't failure, it's done. So maybe you don't do it exactly 100% perfect. Guess what? You're human. You're not expected to do anything really perfect. It's okay for you to not be perfect. It's okay for you to go and to stumble through and to not know exactly what you're doing. I think that's another fear that we have, is that we aren't really sure what we're doing. And I hate to be the one to tell you this, but a lot of times you're not going to know what you're doing until you start doing it. We learn by doing. We don't learn by sitting and watching. I mean, we learn some things, but mostly we learn by doing. We learn by getting out there and actually trying, getting your hands dirty, figuring it out by trial and error. That's how you really learn. So don't be so worried about being perfect, especially right out of the gate, that you don't try, that you don't move forward. Maybe that's one of the reasons. The last thing that I want to kind of talk about with this whole thing is, I want you to flip the question from what if I fail to what if it works. What? Yeah, we're talking about the power of what if. What if it works? Then what? Now that in itself can be kind of terrifying. But instead of saying, what if I fail? What if I do it wrong? What if people laugh at me? What if we flip that script and we say, what if I figure it out? What if I get it right? What if it turns out to be the thing that sets my heart on fire? What if I end up living my best, happiest, healthiest life because of these changes that I have made? What if it works? There's a huge, huge power in what if. Use it. Flip that script on its head. What if it works? What if I get what I want? What if I can make it work? What if it's not as hard as I have it made out to be in my head? Use the power of what if. Flip the script. Remember that your perfectionism doesn't want you to go anywhere, and perfectionism might very well be your form of procrastination. Let's flip the script. Okay? Let's, first of all, get very clear on what we want and what our goals are. Let's name the fears that are keeping us from starting on those goals so that we can work around them. Let's realize that our perfectionism is going to try to stop us. It's part of our brain trying to keep us safe. It hasn't quite caught up to us yet. And let's harness the power of what if. Let's flip the script and say, what if it works? What if I can do this? What if it works? The positive power of what if. I want you to remember that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to meet your goals. You deserve to be able to feel like you can do things. And you can. You can do so many things. You matter, my dear. You absolutely 100% matter. And you are capable of anything and everything that you set your mind to. You can do this. You just have to decide that it's time to start moving forward with the decision that you've made and the goals that you've set, and start taking those little tiny steps. And they are going to be little tiny steps at first. At first, you're going to see no progress. You're going to take one little tiny step after another, and you're going to feel like this isn't getting me anywhere and I want to quit. And then you're going to look back and realize how far you have come and how much progress you have made. Please don't give up on that. Please don't think that you're not worth the effort that it takes to start and to keep going. Because starting is only part of the battle. You have to keep going once you have started. But you've made the decision. Now it's time, my dear, to start moving toward that decision, to start working towards it, to start allowing it to be part of your life and part of who you are. You've got this. Remember that you are brave. You are so brave enough to move forward with the decision that you've made and work towards your goals. And you can do it because you matter and you're awesome and you're amazing and wonderful. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Let's do this. Let's make this the best year ever. And let's conquer those dragons. Let's chase those dreams and meet those goals. You've totally got this. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and link down below. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to be brave.